how to decide if you should market your product on social media. And in this specific scenario, I'm talking about software apps. I have a very simple rule for this when trying to decide if you should market your app on social media. And the rule is, are you a B2C broad use case app? That's it. That's it. The most niche I would go is B to prosumer, but I would never go no deep tech slash B2B enterprise software for a very simple reason. In order to go viral on social media, you need to be appealing to a mass audience, right? Because I will view social media in a very binary way. If you're marketing a product that just isn't something that people understand or is applicable to multiple individuals or a broad audience, most people are just going to scroll past your video and not watch it. So fundamentally, for a video to go viral on social media, a lot of people need to find it interesting, and it needs to apply to a lot of individuals. And for that to happen, usually it's a more broad use case application. Now, that doesn't mean like you're cooked if you're like B2B enterprise app. It just means social media isn't the main channel that you should be marketing your product on. And when I mean social media here, I'm mostly talking about TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, right? Like for B2B enterprise software, I will try to go through LinkedIn, maybe try paid advertisements because paid ads can get very, very specific with the targeting. Or I will do YouTube video long form where you have individuals who are highly targeted looking for your product or something related to, something that's relevant to your customer, like a question they have, that you have a video that's answering that question that ultimately does plug your product. And to give you guys an example of how the math works out, let's just say you are marketing a B2B enterprise software that's very deep tech, right? So fundamentally, let's just say your TAM is 100,000 people TAM, right, for B2B enterprise software. If you do the math, let's just say you reach this, you're not going to reach this entire audience, right? You're probably, in theory, let's say you account for people who are on these social media platforms, let's say there's out the 100,000 TAM, there's only 10,000 people on Instagram, for example, and your video is only going to reach 2,000 of them, right? Out of the 2,000 individuals, maybe 5 of them actually buy your product. Now the math works out if your product costs, $1,000 per month, that if even 5 people buy your product, then immediately you're up to 5K in MRR, which sounds good in theory, right? And I'm not saying this can't work, but I'm also saying like this probably is not going to work out the way you think it's going to work out, just because from my experience of marketing B2B enterprise software, this is mostly a sales cycle thing, and you have to go through like your own personal connections. You have to go through procurement. You got to like talk to other people in the high up. It's not going to be like a self-serve product where someone can just go over to your website and buy it. So even if your product does cost around the $1,000 per month range, you're probably not something where you're like a direct self-serve product that people can just buy off your website. Now, in the other case scenario is, let's say your product is for like a B2B audience, but it costs like $50 per month. If you judge by this math, you post a video and only 5 people buy your product, you're only making $250 per month. And that's like best case scenario. Because the higher chance is just like your videos get 200 views and no one buys your product. Because Instagram has decided that like your video isn't even worth pushing out to 2,000 people in this audience because number one, maybe your video is bad, or number two, it's just like there's not a lot of people that wants to watch your content anyways, so why am I even push it to more people? So ultimately, in order for your product to do well on social media, I only recommend B2C broad use case apps. You could go be the prosumer, and what I mean on prosumer, right? You can be like content creators, you can be like people that work in sales or something. But I would not go any deeper than that, right? Like I would just go broad sales use case. I would not go like tech sales, or I don't know what's like another like more niche category, like content creator for I don't know, real estate software thingy. I think you know what I'm talking about here. And again, what I'm saying here mostly applies to selling software. If you're selling a service, that becomes very different. The reason I say this is because if you're selling software, most of your videos are probably going to be plugging the software, right? You're directly trying to market the software to your audience. If you're not, people don't even know your software exists. There's almost no point in marketing your software in the first place then. But if you're selling like a service, a lot of the videos you're probably going to be making is like educational content for your target audience. So all of a sudden, this math starts to work out because, if there's 10,000 people in your target audience on Instagram and you're able to reach 2,000 of them, and Instagram is going to push your video out to 2,000 of them because your video is highly valuable, that people in that audience wants to watch your video. Unlike if your video is just purely plugging the software product, which you would do if you're selling a software tool, Instagram is not going to want to show your videos to your target audience because you're spamming their feed with ads. And Instagram in general doesn't want to, on typical usage, they don't want to be showing too many ads to their audiences because it gives a bad experience for their users. But if your video is highly educational, let's say you're able to reach 2,000 of them and 5 people buy your product out of 2,000, but now you're selling a 5,000 per month package for coaching for real estate people that want to get into like Airbnb short-term rentals, all of a sudden you're making 25K MRR. So the math does work out if you are running a services business, if you want to go super niche, but generally for software, the math just doesn't work out because let's say you are a super high ticket B2B software, you're probably not acquiring customers to social media anyways. It's probably through like relationships, cold outbound. Again, there's so many layers you have to go through. And if your product is like just $50 per month, the math just doesn't work in your favor. Okay, hope this was helpful.